Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Nothing screams holiday to me like old Hollywood, which to me is a gray-based smoky eye with a fierce, vibrant, bold red lip. So today we're going to be doing just that, talking through a tutorial of the eyes and lip today, which I know a lot of people don't see it as Hollywood and I know a lot of people don't see that as holiday, but for me, like, nothing is more classic than this kind of black and gray smoky eye with a ruby red lip. So if you want to see how we achieve this, make sure to keep on watching. Please don't forget to subscribe because I upload 2 or 3 times a week, and that'll be the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So if you want to join me on how we did this today, play with some makeup and really just relax, stay tuned. Alright, so you guys already saw the intro, so you know where this whole thing is going. I'm going to start by doing I want a grayscale smoky eye. For everyone who didn't get the Jeffree Star Cremated palette, doesn't support him for whatever reason, or just didn't get the palette, and really enjoy those grayscale, I'm going to be using from Ofra. This is the Black Friday palette. I believe it's an exclusive limited edition palette. It does come with a mirror, and it is super neutral, cool tone grayscale. So I'm going to be using this. Thank you to them for sending this over, but no, this is not sponsored. And we're going to use this today. So I'm going to start with, no, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to start with a dense, fluffier brush. And do we want to go green gray or blue gray? I think I'm going to do the bluish gray. Keep it a little more cool toned. So I'm going to take a little bit of that gray. I did recently feature an Ofra shadow in I think it was like 2 videos ago, maybe 3. And I really like the way they perform. So I already know the formula is good. And you guys know I'm a sucker for cool tones and grays. So I'm really just taking this very gently and very lightly on the tip. Like I'm picking up next to no product, a tiny amount, just to map out the crease. I love when I do this technique because I always get some person in the comment section who's like, that palette has no pigment. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm picking up no product. And I pick up a tiny amount just to map out the upper area of my lid of how far up I want to blend. Whenever I am working with grays and blacks, I always make sure to go in with this technique because black eyeshadows and gray eyeshadows, they can get super sloppy and super messy very, very easily. So you really want to be careful. Yeah. And then once I feel like I have the shape, I'll pick up quite a bit more product and I will trace exactly where I set that first initial color down. Going into a clean, fluffy brush, this is a Makeup Shack T46. I'm just going to blend that up and soften those edges. Normally when I do something that's super cool tone, you guys know I like a warm tone crease just to complement it. But because we're going for this like classic holiday, vintage, like old Hollywood look, I do want to keep it pretty grayscale. So I'm not going to be adding like a warm definition in the crease. I'm going to be keeping it at gray. Now that we have that there, I'm going to take that same gray and I'm going to pick up a decent amount of it and I'm just going to pat it on the outer portion of the lid and blend it about 2/3 of the way into the eye. I will be using a black shadow to give us some more definition shortly, but this is going to be the beginning of that blend, just so the black has something to blend into and it doesn't get too harsh too quickly. Once more with that clean blending brush. Before I go into the black shadow, I do really want to make sure that this looks good all the way around. So I'm going to grab a black liner. This one is from Huda. And I'm going to put this very gently just in my waterline. All right, with that down, I'm going to go into, this is a brush from Beauty For Real. It's their dual-sided like pencil brush. I'm going to start by taking the pointy brush into the black eyeshadow. It is called Triple Black. And I am going to just pat that over the liner and smoke out the black liner a tiny bit. I'm not going in a lot. I really don't want this color to be super grungy because I'm going to do that with the gray. Switching to the fluffier side, I'm going to go into the same gray we used on the upper lash. And I am just going to connect that gray on the outer portion of the eye and connect it to that upper lid. And keep in mind, so far we have literally used two shadows, a black and a gray. And I can't tell which of the grays I want to go in with because this one looks a little more mauve-y and this one looks a little more true. I think I'm going to start with this one and add a little bit of the white to the inner corner and blend that in. So I'm going to grab, I had a brush here. There it is. I'm going to grab a flat brush and I'm going to pick up a little bit of this shadow. This formula does go on well dried, but I am going to be doing it wet just because it does intensify it quite a bit. And I'm going to take that across the center of the lid. Grabbing that pencil brush, I'm just going to lightly blend the crease. Just because we do want to make sure that that shimmer is really just on the lid. And that's how we're going to soften it. All right, now to finish up the blending, I'm going to take a pointy brush. This is the E45 from Sigma, and I'm going to go into the black shade. And I'm going to start by lightly adding this to the outer corner of the eye. And then once it's down where I want it, I'm going to lightly blend that around the crease just to build up that definition. As you guys know, because I say it every time I do a smoky eye, when you're working with a smoky eye, it is going to look messy until it's perfect. So you do want to make sure you take your time blending. All right, and once we feel like the crease is where we want it, going back into that first brush with a little bit more of the black shadow, we're going to blend a bit more to the outer crease and the inner portion of that outer V. This is what's going to make the eye look bigger. And I've given you guys this tip a million times. When you're doing a smoky eye like this, I always take a face powder on a fluffy brush, and there's no mirror on that. And I actually go to just under the brow bone, and I blend down, just because that is going to soften the edges even more, making everything look really well blended. See how that just basically cleaned up that whole thing? Such an easy tip to make any smoky eye look better. All right, now that we have the basic smoky eye done, I'm going to go into the white shade right here to highlight the inner corner. And then once you pop it on the inner corner, just to make it look smooth, blend it a little bit up over the lid of the eye, and then switch back to your pencil brush and blend into the lower lash. That's what's going to make it look like it's brightening the eye as opposed to looking like a stamp of shiny in the middle of your lid. All right, before we jump into lip, I'm going to go throw on some mascara and a quick lash, and I'll be right back. All right, we are back. Lashes are on, and I love when you do this like smoky eye, but then every time I do it, I feel like my blush disappeared. So I'm going to add a tiny bit more. Today I used the Natasha Denona Bloom palette because I was actually on a masterclass that Natasha Denona was doing like 3 days ago, and she used this palette, and it was just beautiful. And ever since, like, this has been my new blush go-to. I'm taking a tiny bit of this shade right here, which looks like it's going to be very dark, but it sheers out beautifully. And then she took a little bit of this shade down here and just used that to top it. And it was just such a beautiful flush to the cheeks, especially because we're going so cool on the eyes. And I picked like a blue-based red for the lips. So it just kind of adds a little bit more of that warmth back to the cheeks. And yes, I'm still loving the little snowman sponge from Base Blue. All right, for lip today, this is going to be our combo. It is the NYX Slide On Glide On Liner in the shade Brick House. I have loved this for years, and I'm pairing that with the Lunar Beauty liquid lipstick in Witch Bitch. So let's pop that on. I do have a little bit of like a lip balm on right now, but this stuff goes right on top of it. And once that's down, a little bit of the lipstick right on top. All right, so I just gave that a second to dry down because I do want to pop a gloss on top. This is the Beauty For Real Light My Fire lip gloss, which is just a really pretty, lightly sparkly red. I love topping a red lip with this just because it gives you just that light amount of sheen with a little bit of a gold sparkle, which I think is so old Hollywood and perfect for the holidays. See how that just adds just the right amount of glow to the lips? You don't need a lot. A little does go a long way. And I just love adding a tiny bit of an extra into the pout of the lip. And that is the finished look. So thank you guys so much for joining me so far. Like, I love how this looks. You guys know, a classic red lip with a super smoky eye. Like, I'm getting Morticia Addams vibes, but it also feels like super appropriate for the holidays. Is that weird? That for me, like, Morticia Addams and grungy still feels holiday. I mean, my nails are literally black with, I don't even know if you could see that. They are literally black with these little glitters in them. Come on. And I'm calling them my ornament nails because they literally look like sparkly little black ornaments. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know down below and I will see you guys next time. Bye.